So, good morning, students. Today I am going to start R.K. Narayan's Painters of Sign. A brief introduction of R.K. Narayan is that he was born in uh, 1906 and died in 2001. He had a long span of life and he started writing in 19 he started writing in 1930s and his most famous work was published in 1935. And the first novel which was written by him was uh, Swami and his Friends. Okay, and this novel was published in 1935, though he wrote it uh, before that year, wrote this novel, but it later got published. Before he started writing novels, he took several jobs, one of teacher, and he also became a reporter for a Madras-based paper called The Justice, which was dedicated to the rights of non-Brahmins. So he was a person with multiple experience, and what is most important about him, which is still remembered by everyone, is that he created a fictional village called Malgudi. Okay, and this fictional village allowed him to create his imaginary world. Okay, and this fictional world, what we call Malgudi, is actually a world where he fills people with his own desire, mostly with traditional values. Okay, and the most important novels by R.K. Narayan is The Guide, and there is a very famous movie starred by none other than the greatest uh, hero of the time. Uh, I am forgetting the name. Uh, can anyone remember the name of the hero in The Guide? Hero and heroine? Devanand, isn't it? So, and this novel won him Sahitya Academy Prize, okay, in 1958. So this was an important novel, and it's a great turning point of his career. This novel, The Painters of the Sign, it is, you can say, a late or the it was one of the novels of his busy years. Okay, and it was published in 1967, I think. Let me check the 1977. So after 58, it was published in 1977. There were other novels in between, but I am giving you the date because there is point some important points actually which we must compare. The another work which we can compare with these two novels, The Guide and The Painters of Sign, is The Dark Room, which was published in 1938. No, the earliest phase of his writing. We can divide his writing in three phases actually. The earliest phase, the middle phase, and the busy years, where he was very famous and rich, and he used to go to America and other places. He owned a Mercedes Benz and a big house in Massue. It is in his busy years after 60s, or you can say 70s, later years. Okay, so those was the years of his, you can say, the golden years of his fame and name. Now, let me talk about this novel, Painters of the Sign. The Painters of Signs. As the title signifies, there is a painter, okay, who is painting signboards and other things. Okay, as we see, find painters in villages or in small places sometimes, or even in our Lucknow. No? If you have to get something written on the wall, you bring a painter and he just paints it. Okay, So this novel is actually significant because in this novel the treatment of women is different. All right. If we take three novels side by side, the first is The Dark Room, which was published in 1938. The next, The Guide, 1958. See, it's a gap of 20 years. And the third is The Painters of Science, 1977, a gap of 19 years. This 19 or 20 years gap is actually a gap of a generation. All right, it's a total gap of a generation. And if we take the women character in the first novel, The Dark Room, the heroine is Savitri. All right, but Savitri is crushed under the patriarchal society. Are you able to understand? She is crushed under the patriarchal society, and she is not able to put a question mark. Okay, because the male tyranny in 1938 means before in the before the independence. No? That was a time when women were still under boundaries. Okay. In 1958, when he wrote The Guide, I hope all of you have seen the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, please watch it. Okay. In this novel, there is character Rosie. See how the name is changed. In the first novel, the name is Savitri. Sati Savitri. Do you know Sati Savitri? She is an emblem of that Sati Savitri, and she is expected to behave like that in a very traditional role of women in Hindu homes. In Guide, the women or the protagonist, the female protagonist is Rosie. Name is now modernized. It is not Sita Savitri like that. It is Rosie. Rose is found in India, so the Rosie is also can be. We can have a Rosie also with us. Okay. And if you have watched the movie or read the story, Rosie is a dancer. Okay. And actually, though she is a rebel, but she is not able to achieve what uh, we can say women liberation fully. She is not able to fully liberate herself, but partially she is successful to liberate herself, but not fully. Okay, you can say she is a midway बीच का आप कह सकते हो कड़ी है between Savitri and the heroine of the Painters of Science, Daisy. Savitri, Rosie, and Daisy. How names are also changing. Okay. Because his novels, R.K. Narayan's novels, are a mirror of the changing society, how society is changing. Okay. So in the third novel, The Painters of Sign, Daisy is the woman who achieves full liberation. She has liberal outlook, no? In the true sense, Western sense also you can say, in that true sense. And she is actually a woman or a girl who wants to be independent, who wants to achieve economic as well as social independence. All right. So in this novel, what we find, the one thing it is a change at social level, economic level, and it's a these changes actually demand to change women's condition also. Okay, because it's a new era of education. All right, where women cannot be they no longer they can be subordinated. Okay, however, this is not the exact reality. She was aware of her rights, no? means Daisy. Not everyone was aware in that way. Okay, so this character of Daisy, who is an independent girl, and what we know today, live in relationship, we just get a hint of that live in relationship in this novel in the beginning. Okay, so the tradition is in question in this novel because her counterpart is aunt, na? Aunt of Raman, the hero, or the male protagonist. Okay, now they are two, they are two, you can say poles, opposite poles. Okay, if Daisy is a fully liberated modern girl, na, aunt is a fully, you can say, a devoted, na, traditional Hindu woman. Okay, she is actually, you can say, she embodies tradition while Daisy embodies modernity. And this story, no, of Aunt Raman and Daisy, actually this story is a microcosm, no? West means at a small level, which is actually, which is, you can say, a mirror of whole India, the changing India, how India was changing. Not just Malgudi was changing with new modern inventions, India was also changing. So Delhi is a dynamic and self-reliant girl, unlike Savitri, uh, and where in Savitri in Dark Room says, I am like a bamboo pole which cannot stand without a wall to support it. No? It's a direct contrast with Daisy, Savitri of the Dark Room. Okay. Now, Daisy has to face patriarchy, male tyranny, and false taboos. And Rosie, partially successful, she is midway. But Daisy is actually uh, making her own way. And what is very important is that the modernist elements which are creeping in the life of Malgudi, no, they are not just material development like trains and other things. Okay, it's change in human being also, in their outlook also. Okay, so story in a nutshell is that this girl Daisy is on a campaign to control population. She comes to this place from nowhere. Okay, she comes to this place from nowhere, and for her campaign she employs Raman, who is a painter, local boy. This local boy is actually a rationalist, what we find in the beginning, because he put question marks on the practices, the rituals and the practices which her traditional aunt, who is actually a caretaker of Raman. So he puts question mark on those rituals because those rituals seems irrational to him. But aunt always rebukes him. You question mark the scriptures? No, you should not. So he is a kind of rational person. And when he comes in contact with Daisy, who is a fully realized version of Savitri and Rosie, okay, because they could not cultivate Daisy in themselves, but Daisy is fully cultivated woman. Okay, when she asks him for the job, he is readily happy. And later on, what we find that he is not just painter of signs, okay, who used to sign several boards and other things for his. He was the only painter available actually. He becomes, you can say, a helper to this woman. Now help bhi karta hai jagah jagah. Wherever she goes, he follows, and she asks him to go with him. Naturally, he falls in love with her because he is a person who has deep sexual desire And in the novel, we find, as in my earlier lectures, I've told you that he used to watch the contours of the body of women who were taking dip in the river. He was living near the river. Okay, so that kind of you can say mentality was already there. All right, though he seems to be a modern person, a rationalist person, but that male gaze, what we can say now of sexuality, that always dominated Raman. This is also evident when he gets a time to stay with Daisy in a village for the night. He imagines to rape her, and this is a very typical kind of imagination which we find in other places also. And he actually attempts also, but she rebukes him, and he is actually not as powerful a person who can commit this crime. Okay, and he's so worried after that episode that he thinks, what will happen if she makes a complaint that I tried to seduce her? No, he then keeps himself at his home. But actually, she forgets. For her, it was something very insignificant, and she rebuked and overcame him, so she doesn't bother about it. And she is on that mission of uh, mm, uh, population control, which was actually a historical fact during the time of Indira Gandhi in 1970s, that Indira Gandhi had implemented forced sterilization program also. If you ask your parents or your grandparents in your family, you will find that in 1970s she implemented this program. Okay, so what is in this story? What goes on, that Raman falls in love with her, but is not able to leave his patriarchal uh, mental setup. All right, and for the time being, she agrees to live with him. No, now why he is attracted towards her? Physically, he is attracted towards her. All right, it's no doubt. She is beautiful, she has good body, everything is, but more than that, her frankness. No, when she is talking about sex education, contraception, on a depopulation campaign and family planning, no, without any, you can say, she doesn't have any shame, no, which the people of village feel sometimes. They send away their children, but she says, no, 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 let them be. It's more important for them to know. It's a kind of sex education also. All right, how to control population. So, okay, she agrees to live with him, but not in a proper marriage. No, it's a kind of Gandharva Vivaha, or what we can say in today's terminology, it was a kind of live-in relationship. And aunt, no, she doesn't like this thing. How can she live here? And she actually decides to go to Varanasi for her last days. And what happens in the story, that after some times, Daisy realizes that this life is not for her. Yeah. She says that married life is not for me. I have thought it over. It frightens me. I am not cut out from the life you imagine. You can't live except alone. It won't work. Finally, she leaves him. Aunt leaves him. She also leaves him. Okay. And what is important, that she considers marriage as impediment in her way of self fulfillment. Okay, and even she could have, possibly she could have managed to have a married life on equal footing, but she actually decides to live alone. So this is the model of woman which was prospering, which would prosper in that time, or in the coming time, which R.K. Narayan believes. And today we find such women. Even in, if you see that our college has lots of women who are not married and they are living happily alone. So this novel, which has four small parts, okay, it has some spontaneity in imparting the progression of events one by one, okay, and with traditional ethics and values, we have modern ethics and values, no? And they are Western values which have overpowered Indian values actually, which started overpowering Indian values. The modernity came at the expense of Indian values, and the reason is that people in India, they could not uh, came out, they failed to come out of the uh, traditional, or you can say uh, orthodox way of life. No? They could have their own models of modernism, but they never thought about it. And the Western modernism, coupled with neo-colonial economic expansion, that uh, means that changed the mind of people so much without any realization that there was a kind of running away towards west. Okay, so in this novel, it's a very contemporary theme, and the incurable romantic Raman is left without anyone, na, a motherly figure as well as a as a as a without a motherly figure, means his aunt leaves, and without a wife or a lover, both leave him. So this was the story and the plot in nutshell, and the issues which I wanted to share with you. This elegant, charming, and delightful The Painters of Sign is a remarkably mature novel by R.K. Narayan. It's a kind of love story, but this love story is a quirky and whimsical one. And if there is any love story at all, it is a kind of, according to that time, it's a damn strange story, which has anticlimax, and Narayan is not making any effort to make it a normal good ending or happy ending story where the boy and the girl meet at the end. They are small people of a small place, and I am reminded of, because especially Raman, though he claims to be a rationalist, he is a man of limited vision. And I'm reminded of Nepal, who says that Narayan's novels, they are full of small men. Of course, they are small men and they have limited vision, but whatever they are showing here is actually a reminder, not for just that small place, a fictitious place called Malgudi, but perhaps it would later happen in India. That is what Narayan visualized at the time. And during this novel, he has, you can say, maintained the familiar picture of Malgudi, no, which the world grown for decades of his writing. I hope that you have seen Malgudi Days. Now, this unusual love story, it depicts the romantic ardor, humor, frustration, all right, sexual frustration, also agony, then reconciliation, delusion, as well as disillusionment of love. Now, someone say that Daisy might have been wrong in someone's eyes, but Daisy is peculiarly a modern young woman for whom, you can say, the cult of independent individuality is of supreme value in life. And through the end, Narayan's characteristic touch of ambiguity, and you can say, which is often characteristic of his other novels. Okay, and here reader feels a kind of an anticlimax. Perhaps it may be disappointing, yet showing the union of these two people in wedlock might have made the novel weaker. All right. So, avoiding a tame ending and a false note of storytelling, no, he make them realize that they are not made for each other and they must part. So Raman's defiant gesture in the end when he throws away the key, no, so his defiant gesture of return to his old groove, okay, it saves the ending from any kind of any touch of cynicism or depression. Means this novel shows that both of the characters are matured by the end of the novel. So this novel is, you can say, when it was written, it was much ahead of its time, and Narayan has visualized the future of India. This may happen in India, and the living relationships which we witnessed even before the Supreme Court made it lawful. No? So this is what Narayan has visualized, and it was a change in India. This novel is a mirror of the change of India. If we compare his earlier novels, in every novel change is visualized. Okay, so it's all from today's class. Okay, thank you.